Let's now bring in education activist Hendrick Makaneta as we look at the issue of infrastructure challenges for some schools in the country ahead of the June examinations. A very good afternoon to you, Hendrick. This year's mid-year exams come following pupils enjoying an added extra few days of holiday across the country. But now it's boots on the ground, I would imagine. How would you assess the first few months of 2025 school calendar year, especially given the ongoing infrastructure challenges as we've seen in that clip?
Well, I must say that, things have not been well for the terrain of education, in particular basic education. For the very first 5 months, you'll recall that even in the beginning of the year, we still struggled with learners who were not placed in classrooms on day one of teaching and learning. And, for us, that remains a cause for concern because once learners are not placed on time, then, of course, it means that they will fall behind with the curriculum. And recently, with the various issues which have affected some of the schools, such as Rivali Secondary School, where some of those classrooms were banned. And, it is encouraging that, government is trying by all means to ensure that the alternative arrangements have been made in this case. But I think that it is very much important, to walk an extra mile. Government alone should not be the one dealing with these issues. We really want to see communities also coming on board in the form of, moral support, encouraging our learners. Remember that most of the learners or some of the learners will be writing, their matric. They're about to finish their curriculum in June, and so they really need support, especially those that are affected by a wide range of issues within the terrain.
And notwithstanding the major infrastructure challenges, which are a problem, the exams also come at the back of that rather concerning nationwide survey that we saw recently, I think last month, which revealed high number of teacher dissatisfaction, with half saying they are considering leaving the profession within the next 10 years. Are we likely to see this significantly impact the quality of the learning? Of course, we're not taking away from the other challenges faced by the education sector.
Well, quite honestly, yes, there is an impact. Many of our teachers, if you have seen the survey, there are many who are demoralized because of the high level of indiscipline within the schools. And of course, the fact that, when, they don't know, most of our teachers, especially those that are found in our public schools, do not have, alternatives that can really work in terms of instilling discipline. Issues of detention don't really work because teachers have to be present. If you are going to detain a child on a Friday afternoon, it means as a teacher you must also be there because the duty of care demands that in the absence of the parent, the teacher automatically becomes the parent. And so we really think that the conditions of service, are also affected by these austerity measures that have, been introduced by government, which led to budget cuts and so on. And so generally, even though the education department gets the biggest chunk in terms of the allocations from the national treasury, but, the money is not really enough to deal with a wide range of factors such as, overcrowding, for example, in classrooms.
You mentioned very early on about the importance of other stakeholders also assisting government where it can. In as far as the dissatisfaction of teachers is concerned, what role can parents play here? Because a lot of the stresses that you hear is the fact that teachers are inundated with issues that are unrelated to, the education part of it. What role can communities, can even school governing bodies and parents play here?
I think that parents have got an important role to play to ensure that they create a conducive environment for learning and teaching, not only for the learners but also for the teachers. We know that teachers are overworked when you look at admin work that they also have to do in addition to academic work in the classroom, in addition to teaching and learning. And of course, in some of the schools, you find that even parents, in addition to the pressure that teachers get already from the school management team, even parents put an additional burden on the shoulders of our teachers. It's something that I think requires a collaborative effort to ensure that parents can be able to understand the nature, of the work that is done by our teachers. Teachers play pastoral roles. There are many learners who come from broken, backgrounds, even learners who come from child-headed families. Teachers are expected to do more, to even do the work that is supposed to be done by our educational psychologists, because in some of the schools you don't find professionals such as social workers or educational psychologists. Therefore, in addition to that, teachers must be able to untap into these unseen challenges that are faced by the learners. But be that as it may, I think that we can certainly go a long way to ensure that we involve not only the parents but also the private sector in the form of additional support. Because really, I'm not surprised that most of our teachers in the next 10 years will be out of the system. It is mainly because they've really, they're carrying a very huge burden in as far as teaching and learning, which is made worse by not only their managers, but also by parents.
Mr. Makaneta, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Hendrick Makaneta, there's an education activist as we, of course, look to the next exams that the schools of the 2025 education calendar will be facing.